Hi, so today we're going to be making the slouch bag. So there's two different sorts I'm showing you now. So we're going to do the brown, cream and gold looking one. So you're going to need 18 sets of squares. The size of squares are 3 by 4 inches, and you're going to need 18 for the front and 18 for the back. So then you place them in a design that you want and sew them into strips. Make sure you fold down and iron all the creases. So this is what it's going to look when you've finished. Then place the pattern on top and just cut round it. So this is what it'll look like when you finish cutting round, and then place a wadding underneath. I've used a compressed wadding, and just sew all the way round. It's easier to do it that way, and then snip off the excess once you've sewn round it. Get the stitch as close as you can to the edge, and that will give you a better seam allowance. So once that's done, you will get the outer bit for the bag, and you're going to pin it all the way round. Now I've used a vinyl faux leather for the outer, and as you get to the edges of the corners, just make sure you just snip round, and that will help it to bend round the corners, and it's easier to sew that way. So just give it a few snips on the corners and then bend it round. You'll find that it's easier to just pin as well. Now once you pinned it all the way around, you need to sew it. And then do the other side again, sew all the way around. And I usually give about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, the width of the foot, and it's just comfy because then you can guide your foot along the edge as well. So once that's done, you put the other side on and do exactly the same process. Now once that's done, turn the bag the right way round. And there we go, and just push through to the corners. And all of a sudden it's starting to look like a bag already. And now I'm going to do the buckle, the flap bit to close the bag. So the size I'm doing is approximately 8 inches by 2 inches, and I'm doing two of those. I'm doing two of those because I'm doing it out of the vinyl. But if you're doing it out of denim, obviously you could just do 8 by 4 inches and fold it over and sew it up. But because I'm doing it out of vinyl, I like to cut. And then what I need to do is then get some, with the vinyl, I use a bit of double-sided tape, just pop it in the middle, and that will hold it in place while you're sewing it. And then just do a top stitch all the way around. So that's what it's going to look like when you've done. And now I'm going to use a presser stud for the closure. So if you can see that. So I'm going to mark the hole with a hole puncher. And this is just a great tool. It's very handy. I will leave the link in the comments. Um, and there you go. You just push it down, and it makes a hole. You can also use the green machine, which you'll see in a minute. Um, but I find for quickness, the hand puncher is easy. And then just obviously use whichever tool you're using. I'm using the green machine, and that will squash it into place. So that's your button. And then we're doing the attachment to the back. I'm just going to put 2 rivets in place to hold the flap. And obviously on the front of the bag, you'll want to put the little nipple on the bag so it meets with the actual snap button. And once that's in place, there you go. So that's all done. So we're going to go to the lining now. Again, you need to cut 2 of the main fabric and 2 of the lining on each. So we're going to place a zip pocket on this one. So I've just cut a square that will fit nicely. You can put a smaller one if you want to. I like to just put one just inside the bag. So I'm just going to mark the place where the zips are where I'm going to sew for the zip. Draw a line just so I know I'm going straight when I'm sewing. And you want to sew round the box enough width for a zip to fit in. Once you've done that, you need to just snip it out. Like so, just cut a line in the box, and at the corners just go to the corners in a V shape. That just helps with when you're ironing, and it keeps the corners nice and crisp. So once you pushed it through, you need to iron it down. So give it a good press so it's nice and neat. And then what you want to do is measure a zip. Whenever I do a zip, I cut one side out of the teeth. It just helps me to thread the zip. I don't know, some people find it so easy. I find it very fiddly, but it's slotted in, and it helps with the teeth being cut out. Once that's done, you just pin it into place. You might already have your own method on how to do a zip. This is the way I do it. You'll find your own comfort in one way or another. So pin it into place, and then what you want to do is sew all the way around it. Once that's done, turn it over, and then you want to sew and seal the pocket up. Okay, so once you've done that, you get your outer, the sides of the bags, and you want to pin it all the way around. So it looks like that, and then you want to sew it all the way around. Once that's done, you do the other side, but you want to leave a gap at the bottom that you don't sew, so when you threading the bag through, you've got some space to get the bag through. I usually leave about 5-6 inches. That's comfortable to get a bag through. Okay, so once the lining's done, you want to pop the bag inside the lining, so good side to good side. Tuck your flap in, and you want to pin the corners first. So start at the one corner, work it round to the next corner. This will feel a bit snug, but that's good because then your lining's not going to be baggy.
It's not kill me. It's like it's super tough. I should call him out. Still, I bet he had to come and but instead of getting angry, he said, stupid bitch, go watch out what he drives like. They're a menace. He never said anything like that, Mum.
Okay, so you want to sew it all the way round. And then you want to get your strap for the bag itself. Now this strap is 12 inches long because I wanted a shorter strap, and it's out of the vinyl. You can do any size strap you want. It depends on if you want it crossbody or just a long over the shoulder. It's entirely up to you. So you want to feed it through to those points. This is a bit fiddly, so once you've done that, you want to pin it in place, and you're going to be sewing across there and across there. Once that's done, we are now going to birth the bag. So pull it through gently. I think this is always the best bit. And then you're able to tug at the handles and that'll pull it through. There we go. And then what you want to do is you want to be sewing all the way around. So pin it round, give it a sew round, top stitch over, and there we go. And that's your finished product. And as promised, here's the pattern for the bag. Just pause it here so you can get the measurements. Thank you for watching and enjoy your sewing.